And hello, everybody. Kind of a spontaneous stream. Was not planning on streaming today, but it has been a crazy week. My supporters are going to yell at me. But got home from a week-long trip to California. I'm a couple days behind. I'm starting to get stuff caught up and inventoried, and thought it would be fun to kind of show some of the new pins I've brought home, as well as how I inventory them, how I keep them, and just kind of let you see a little bit of my process when I add pins to my collection. So, spontaneous video it is. You just find out you got to do something and you just got to do it. And so, we're just going to do it because, yeah, okay. I will stop rambling. How about that? Oh, good afternoon, everybody. It's 4 o'clock where I'm at. Like I said, completely unplanned stream. I was unpacking stuff and getting it sorted out and arranged, and realized I haven't had a chance to do a video this week because I've been out in California visiting family. Saw my dad for the first time in a long time. I actually had not been back to where I was raised in over 20 years. Yeah, I was a bad boy. Um, so it was a lot of fun to be able to go out, but with the travel, it meant that I didn't have a whole lot of time to get a video done. I actually do have a footage shot at the California State Railroad Museum in Old Sacramento, so I will be getting that put together. That's going to post early next week, but I haven't had a chance to actually do it yet. And as I was doing it, I realized too, I came home with all these new pins for my collection, and I'm about to start I've actually done some inventory on them already, and I was kinda like, "Well, why don't I share the process?" I get people asking me about pins all the time and how I keep track of them and how I sort them, and, so I thought it might be a fun video to do, as well as an opportunity to just kind of chat. So yeah, Crazy Mike's got it kinda summed up, unplanned, unplugged, although I am plugged in, so hopefully y'all can hear me this time. Uh but I've got a bunch of pins sitting here. I've got a let's see. Oh, Jacob, did I see the Silver Dollar City open today? Yes, I did. I don't go on opening day for a number of reasons. They're still learning their jobs and sorting things out and everything else. I am going to try to get out there potentially tomorrow, maybe Sunday. It is definitely in the plans. I just got to figure out exactly what day I'm going to go. So that will hopefully do well. So wife is doing well. She's at work, although she may actually get home in the middle of this. So we will see how that goes. But like I said, I've got a whole bunch of pins here, and I just realized I got a couple chat programs that I really don't want popping up stuff. So let me close a couple things so y'all don't get all these nice weird chimes and beeps and stuff. What's that? Yeah, never mind. Okay, so Crazy Mike, you're gonna like this. You booked your cruise for November 26th. That is awesome, absolutely awesome, because a lot of these pins are Disney cruise pins. So uh, it's I've got a lady up in Springfield that has been gradually selling off parts of her collection, and she has an absolutely amazing collection. But being a former cast member, of course, I take an interest, and she's just got some fantastic pins, and so I have been picking some up here and there. So I'm going to show you Disney cruise pins. Of course, Mike's going on the wrong cruise line, but that's okay. I've never been on a cruise, so I really can't complain. One of these days, one of these days. But let me show you some of these pins that I've got. Um, some of them are a little more common. So we've got, let's see here, see if we can get that camera to focus. And it's just not wanting to do it real good partially because of the lighting. But there is one cruise pin. That's a little better. So several of these, like I said, are definitely Disney cruise pins. I love the look of this one. It's mirrored. There we go. That's the angle I want. Okay. So now you can see a couple. Um, and I've got probably 60 pins here. A couple cast member pins. So this is a cast member pin. And it's a limited edition from when they were doing the Cross U. And there we go. Pretty close. Still a little bit out of focus. And then this is a pin that you could earn while you were working there if they caught you doing great guest service. And let's see. So you kind of see it. It's like, come on, focus camera. Um, and yeah, so great pins. And then, so a lot of what I do is I come home and I have to examine them, check them out. Mr. Six Flags, are you going to make a trip to Six Flags St. Louis? I would love to. Here's what I figured out. I've had the Six Flags pass for 2 years that I have not used. And I've been traveling around doing a lot of speaking and stuff. I just have not had an ability. I've been in the area a couple times and I couldn't even get over to the park then. So I actually, a couple months ago, I canceled my Six Flags pass. I'm like, I can't seem to get to use this, and I don't think I'm going to have a chance this year either. We may be traveling internationally for a couple years, and it doesn't do me a whole lot of good if we're not in the country. So right now, Six Flags isn't on the table. That could change. Who knows? So, Josh, are you going to Universal Orlando in June? Awesome. Awesome. Epic Universe, I've heard, is supposed to be fantastic. So I'm definitely jealous there. But I love Universal. Absolutely love Universal. So let me show a couple more of these pins here. I've got 4 pins from this series. It's a Walt's 100th birthday. And see if I can get those up there and focused. Come on. Focus. You can do it, camera. Okay, let me try and block me off and see if that helps it. But it's got frame pictures of Walt, and then you've got the characters there, and just a very nice set. And then I've got others like this. This is an artist proof from California Adventure, and a very nice pin. It actually glows in the dark, so the moon, if you got glowing, will be pink. So, yeah, so very neat pin. So, anyways, so like I said, I've got about 60 of these pins. And Jacob, any updates on Silver Dollar City expansion? Nothing I can share, nothing that they've mentioned. So at some point they will share more and then I can talk more. But nothing new out there at this point. So it'll come soon. All right. So let me show you what I do. Let me do this. Let me show a couple other pins that I got in here. And one of the ways that we check to see if they're fake or not. So one of the pin sets, and when she gave them to me, she said, I don't know if these are real or not, is I've got a bunch of these, and I definitely want to get these into focus for you. So they're stars with the characters on them. And okay, there we go. A little better. And there's like 8 of these that I got. Now, this set has been known to be faked, but she also picked these up. Come on, pin. She picked these up in the park around the time that they were making them. So we weren't sure if they were fake or not. They're known to be fakes, but there's a chance that these could potentially be real. So how do you tell? So there's a couple different ways, and I'm going to hold up a couple of these and let you see a couple things. These 2 pins here, one of these I think may be a legitimate pin. Yeah, okay, come on, camera. So one of the ways that you can tell is the coloring. So if you look at the daisy, and okay, that's a little better. Trying to get to focus. You'll notice, if you can see it, the coloring on Daisy's pin is just a little off compared to Jiminy Cricket. The white in Jiminy is brighter than the white on her. In fact, her white is almost pinkish. And so it's kind of off just a little bit. And of the 6 pins that we got, that was kind of one flag. It's like, okay, the white's not white, it's pink. But there's another thing that really definitely set this off. This does not work with a lot of pins, but there are some fakes it definitely does. You get a magnet. And a real pin, rarely you'll find a real pin that's magnetic, but they're generally not. It's not something that happens. But real pin, the Jiminy Cricket that has the good white, it's fine. Watch the other one. It sticks to that magnet like crazy. Yeah, very magnetic. So that is oftentimes a clue. If a pin sticks, especially an older pin, these are dated 2008. So a 2008 pin that's magnetic, you can pretty much guarantee that's fake. Most of those are not going to show up as magnetic, though. There's other things that you can do, and this will be a little harder to see. The thickness is oftentimes a giveaway. And these are about the same thickness, so I'm still not positive Jiminy's real. But they're a little bit thinner pin. You compare these to a real pin, and grab a real one here, and they're just a little bit thinner. So there's my fake, there's the real, and the fakes are oftentimes a little bit thinner. There's another thing too that can often help you tell a real pin from a fake, and that is the post. So, and let me see here if Jiminy has a what. I think he does. Yes, he does. Okay, so here's another cue that Jiminy may be real. If you look careful at the post, okay, come on, camera, you can show it. There it is. So there is one little nub right there next to the post. Just one nub. Many of the fakes don't have any nubs at all. Jiminy, on the other hand, you can see clearly there are two nubs next to that post. That is one quick check for a fake versus a real pin. The two nubs tend to be real. So this now has pink instead of white. It's magnetic and it's got one nub. Fake pin. Oh, plus it's a little on thickness wise. That one's okay. So Goofy is going to do the same. Goofy's actually a little thinner pin. And then my Dumbo, actually, I think maybe genuine. It's got the white. It's got the two nubs. So I think of the 6 pins I got in that series, I think 2 of them are real. And the others are all fake. So you'll find things like that. A thinner metal. This is another pin I got. This whole series, unfortunately, has been faked. They're great pins, but this is very lightweight. It's not heavy enough. It actually doesn't even have a nice metallic sound when they hit. It's like clunk here. It just doesn't even sound good. Whereas real pins have a much nicer sound. So again, fakes on those. Knee pins, but those also came out fake. There are a number of other things, but coloring is often a big sign of a fake pin. In fact, let me grab my others. In here. So there's 2 different kinds of fakes. One is called a scrapper, and basically it's a pin that was not up to Disney quality. The other are fakes where they actually take the molds or copy the molds and then make other pins with them and do various copies of it. Would a real pin show up different under black light? Probably not, because the paints are still going to be similar. Disney doesn't generally do black light with the pins. So this is my face. And if you look at that bell, let's see. Come on, focus. So if you look at the bell and the Snow White there, you can tell right off the bat that they're fake because they're just ugly. The coloring is all wrong on them. And see if we can get to focus. Now, the Mickey uniform right there is a neat pin. It shows one of the other big giveaways of a fake pin. You can actually see it with the light a little bit, how that paint is dipping in it. And this little black guy also will show the same thing. that when you look at the paint there, you can see the reflection with the black guy. That paint isn't level. So what you've got is the difference between what's called hard enamel and soft enamel. Uh, Hard enamel, such as this one, is smooth. You can rub your pin on that surface and it's nice and smooth and even and polished. Soft enamel, the paint actually dips down into the pin. And that's a big sign of a cheap fake. Is if it's a soft enamel, it's almost surely fake. Disney has made a few soft enamel pins, but that's oftentimes a giveaway that a pin that should be hard enamel is soft. So that's a lot of the signs that, hey, you know what? Those pins aren't real. So then I take those if I like them and I put them into my other little folio and I keep them over there. So, yeah, the thickness of the pin, the material, magnet, soft enamel versus hard enamel, stubs on the back being printed clearly. So if you look at the back of a real pin, fake pins will be slightly off. They'll be rearranged wrong. They'll be spelled wrong. You see some pretty humorous things in some of the fake pins, but the backs are genuinely pretty easy to spot with a real one. And then, of course, as pins, more recent pins, they started adding things to the pins to make them easier to spot a real versus a fake. So this is a more current one. You can see the waffling pattern that they've added. They've added FAC numbers, although now those get copied as well. And then newer pins, they actually even have a little gemstone on the back. Again, trying to show that they're genuine pins. The one thing Disney has not done is they have not shut down the factories producing the fakes. Hello, that seems like it'd be the obvious thing, but that's some tips to try to see if a pin is fake or if it's real. Fake pins honestly make it hard for everybody. So, anyways, I've got a whole bunch of these other pins. Now, I've talked about Pin and Pop a little bit on some sites, so I thought it would be fun to actually show you Pin and Pop. So, this is the Pin and Pop website, and this is where I keep track of all of my pins. So, you can kind of see this is my homepage here. And if I were to pop up my public profile for you, if you were to look me up, this is what you would see. That I've got 143 I'm looking for, 48 for trade, and that's going to change as I add some of these things. And then currently, without adding these in, I'm at 1,345 pins. That includes my wife's pins and my daughter's pins. So I'm currently actually closer to about 1,200. Yeah, it's a lot of pins, but there's people here who dwarf me. There's people on this site that have tens of thousands of pins, which is crazy. But that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what Pin and Pop has on it. Now, my collection, I can actually go to here and and it'll actually give you a little bit of an overview of how to do that. But my pins are all here. And you can begin to see on the website just which pins I have. And I've added a lot of these to my collection already. So it's very nice that it keeps track of all of those. The other thing that it will do, though, and let me go backwards, is I can actually show you all the pins I have for trade because it will keep track of all of those. So this pin, for example, I've recently gotten more than one, so I can actually add them on. I've traded one recently. I have another one available for trade. If I wanted to add another pin, I could and mark it as a scrapper or trader, and I'll remove that. And so it's very nice that way. And then they actually do online trading on the site. So I absolutely, with the number of pins I have, it would be very difficult to keep track of what I've got and what I have for trade and what I want. And because I had another site I used to trade on, and I would mess up. I would trade for pins I already had, or I would trade away a pin I only had one of. Now, Pin and Pop is free to use. It doesn't cost you anything to keep track of your pins. if you want to do online trades with them, you can buy trade tokens and do it that way. We actually just had a trade event. So, Trade Arcade. So, here's the trades I did. And you can see I traded away this pin and I traded that way. And they put up boards. So, you have, I can put up 50 pins at a time, show all the pins they want to trade. And then people can actually click on the pin they want to trade for and then click on their traders and make an offer. And I see what they want to offer me and then I can choose to accept or not. And they go through and they actually check all the pins. We send them into Pin and Pop. They keep track of when they receive it. They inspect the pins. They then check and see if they're genuine pins. So let me show you. Do I have? Okay, so here's a pin I got to check. If there's an issue, they will let me know, hey, I don't know if this pin is real or not. Leaning towards fake because the nubs don't look right. So remember I mentioned the nubs? And I can actually click on that. And okay, those are interesting nubs. That's weird. Okay, so I'm going to look that pin up later and see how they did the nubs. I got more pins in that series, so I will look up at the other pins. And then I let them know, hey, you know what? That one just looks weird. I'm going to say no, or I can approve it. And I had another one earlier. Let's see. See if it still shows it here. Okay. I can't look at it now because I canceled it. This pin here, there was all sorts of scuff marks and actually paint and stuff chipped missing. So I was able to reject the trade. So they're very good about inspecting the pins and letting us know what's real and what's not. So I absolutely love Pin and Pop for that. I will use PinPix as well as eBay and other stuff to sometimes check pins and see if they're real. PinPix is really nice if you want to check and see if a pin is real, and that's pinpix.com. Their PinPix, they did have some issues for quite a while, but they have started to revamp the site and get it updated again, and it's really nice that way. So, for example, this little pin I'm celebrating on the Disney Cruise Line. I can actually pull up here. And and it's not there. Okay, so I'm going to try a different search. I'm actually surprised it's not on it. Okay, so let me try Mickey on the cruise and see if I can find this pin. Now, part of the reason I'm looking this pin up is I haven't found it on PinPick or Pin and Pop either. So I'm probably going to have to add it to their database, but I want to make sure I'm getting it in right. So let's see, where is this pin? Looking for Mickey sitting in a tube. And I'm hoping they've got it. At this point, I'm starting to wonder. Okay, where is my pin? Got all sorts of others. So if I don't find it on here, the one bad thing is if you don't know exactly what a pin is, if it's a fairly common theme, it can be hard to find. All right, so I'm not finding it, so I'm going to pull this off so I can look at the year. And so here's another example of what a newer pin looks like. Here, let you see. Again, you can see all the waffling and everything else. So what I'm going to do, because my eyes are old, is I'm going to grab my magnifying glass and glasses, yeah, and check the year on it because they do stamp it pretty small. Disney Cruise Line, Disney pin. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read this. I honestly can't see it. So the problem with the years, if I can show this to you, is when you look at the back and you can see all of these logos and everything, and that's going to be, there we go. The year is in the middle of that little box in little tiny print. So it makes it very hard to see. So when I can't see it that way, and my dog is going crazy because my wife just got home. So she's very excited. So when they have this little miniature print like that, then we get out the phone. And we try to take a picture of the pin. And see if I can get a clear picture of the pin. Because when it's that small, it is very hard. Yes, she's home, pupper. And I still can't tell. Okay. Looks like 2013. So yeah, it can be interesting to look up sometimes. So we're going to try cruise. And I'm going to pull up a couple of these things. Disney Cruise Line. Actually, let me just go Mickey. Disney Cruise Line type. Let's go 2013. And let's see what we can find. Aha, and there it is. Didn't come up with celebrating. What's the deal with that? So there is the actual pin. Hello. All right, so now that I got that, I know it's 2013 now. Now I'm going to come back to here and go Mickey, Disney Cruise Line, and let's try the year. And let's see if we can find our pin. Okay, and it is not there. So, and now what I do is I will take a picture of the pin, and then I would actually go up to here, add pins. And after I take a picture of the pin, then I could add it in, and then I'll use some of the information on PinPix to help fill this in, and I will add the pin to the database, and then I can add it to my collection. So the nice thing, because there are so many pins, it's impossible to get them all into one database. To give you an idea, Pin and Pop has over 87,000 pins on there. And I've got probably 20 pins here that they don't have in their database. PinPix, on the other hand, has, let's see if they say how many. Do they say how many they have? They don't say offhand, but they've got a lot more pins, and yeah, there's still some that I have found occasionally that they are missing. So, yeah, but that's how I keep track of it, and then like I say, I add pins and do stuff like that. So let's see. What would a fifth Disney park in Disney World be like? I have no idea. I don't know that they know yet. I honestly, if I was going to build a fifth Disney park, I would have done Star Wars and maybe Star Wars and Marvel and done those two as a whole park. But they can't do that now because you got Galaxy's Edge over at Studios. So yeah, there went that. But I don't know if they're ever going to do a fifth Disney park because as it is right now, the 4 parks work perfect for vacations. Because let's say people fly in for a 5-day vacation. The day they arrive, they got 1, 2, 3, 4 parks and they go home. And if you end up with a longer vacation, then you end up doing parks twice or filling in other stuff. They've actually done a bunch of studies, and 4 parks work out perfect for the average family's 5 to 6 day vacation. So adding another park if anything, would actually reduce some of the attendance from the other parks because it would end up kind of cannibalizing some of that attendance, and they would be going over to the new park rather than the old ones, and it would actually spread it. It honestly, it wouldn't be a bad thing. It would spread out attendance a bit more, but it would not increase the attendance numbers like they would want. So, and I don't think that's changed. So yeah, that's why you probably won't ever see a fifth park. So, and Universal now with Epic Universe is finally getting to that point as well. So actually thinking about it, Disney does have two other parks that fill in if you're there for a longer vacation. The two water parks. Universal with Epic Universe will now have Islands of Adventure, Universal Studios, Epic Universe, and Volcano Bay, their water park. They're now also starting to hit that magic 4-park number. So that's what their goal has been. People take a whole week now at Universal. They won't go other places. So kind of that nice balance. It's a sweet spot. So anyways, before I go, let me just kind of pan the camera over, let you see all the new pins, and see if I can do this, because I think this is going to be a little easier if it focuses than trying other methods. So here we go. And yeah, my lighting is going to make it interesting. But we've got several different Disney Cruise Line pins. Let me pull that cord. There we go. And give you an idea of, these are all pins I'm going to have to add in to the database. And then up here are all pins that they already have in, and I have added to the collection. And sorry about the shadows, but you can see a number of other Disney Cruise Line pins. And then I got a couple traders hiding over there. Those are pins I already had. But yes, so now you can see why I'm like, I got a lot of pins to inventory here. So, and then in addition to all of those, you got to see the trades that I got from Pin and Pop. I've actually got a package from them, which also has a couple of those pins in that I had traded for. So the other nice thing is Pin and Pop, when you trade with them, it will automatically update your collection, remove the ones you've traded, add in the ones you've traded for. So it is very nice that way. So, ever eat at the Ponderosa? Goodness, I couldn't tell you the last time I saw a Ponderosa Steakhouse. It's been a long time. So, do I remember the confusion with Universal Studios Escape? Escape? I'm sorry, it kind of escapes me. Bad joke. I don't offhand, because I'm not sure what Universal Studios Escape is. I don't remember something there. So, yeah, sorry. Although it may be something that, well, let me look up stuff. Since I got access. Universal's Great Movie Escape. That's an escape room in Orlando. That's the only thing I see. Yeah, and that's actually at Universal Orlando. I have not been to it, so I don't know too much about it. But sorry, can't be more help on that one. So, oh, let's see. And then, yeah, I've got more pins. So Pin and Pop's really nice. They send you a nice little thank you card, an inventory of your trades. And then in addition to the pins, let's see, I got a bag of tea and some stickers. So they do like throwing in some extra stuff. Cheshire Cattails recipe. So they throw in some fun stuff. And then I've got the pins I traded for. There is a wonderful Hanukkah pin. And sky buckets. There it is. And then I'm almost done with that series of masks. I'm missing one in it. So there's a little look at new pins and how I inventory and sort out fakes and all that. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know. And thank you guys so much for joining and watching. Hope you had fun. Have a great weekend. God bless.